Here at Early Excellence, we are very proud of how we use data to enhance every aspect of our program. One way we use data is to show our funders how our students make progress in our classrooms. Okay, so today is a very important day. I am going to be pulling some reports for our foundation, our funders, and our corporate sponsors. So I'm going to start with the Teaching Strategies website, and I'm going to log in to my account. Our funders want to see the growth of our children and see how they entered into our program and how they exited our program. So the best report for that is our growth report. So I'm going to go to Reports tab, click on Growth, and then go over to the Growth Report. And this is a wonderful report because it's going to show everything that I need to provide to funders so they can see for themselves how our students are performing. If I look down at the matrix of all the different categories, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to look at the areas of development, click on that. I want all my social, emotional, physical, language, cognitive, literacy, and mathematics clicked because I know that my funders want to see all those domains. Then I'm going to click on the sites, classes, and children, and I'm going to click on all children. Then I click down to demographics, and I know that there are several funders that want to know who our population is, who we're serving. Gender, race, ethnicity, primary language, birthday, all of that good stuff is going to be included. And then I'm going to skip over widely held expectations because this is a lot of information that they probably don't need to see because it's more for our in-house. And then that brings me down to my age or class grade at fall checkpoint period. This is super important because I want to be able to show that my 4-year-olds graduating from our program into kindergarten are at or above grade level. And then I'm going to skip down to the compare progress between 2 checkpoint periods. This is wonderful because I can go ahead and pick my fall where they entered into our program and then the spring where they exited our program. And I only want finalized checkpoint levels because I don't want all the unfinalized, that's way too much information. And then the score format, definitely the raw score, so if there's some mathematicians out in my funders, they'll be able to know exactly what those raw scores are. And then last but not least is the report by, and I'm going to select program because it's going to show everybody at our preschool in all program areas. I will select hide sites and teachers without children's names. So I'm going to pick view as a PDF file. I particularly like the PDF file. It gives a nice clean report and it's easy for me to print out. It's a very nice clean format. It's a 1-pager. In my top right corner I can see the growth summary, and this is going to be very helpful for my funders because they can see all my learning domains, the number of students that have been included in this form, and they can see the outcomes right off the bat of how many students in my program have reached at or above grade level. So that is going to be exactly what they need right there. That is amazing. They're going to be able to look at this report and in 2 seconds see that my children are either at or above grade level with all the funding supports that they have provided. This is going to be a wonderful report for them. And if they want more detail, they can look at this chart here. A lot of the funders really want to know mathematical percentages. This growth area of development will really help them to break it down, see the percentages per learning domain, and then see all the students' growth in our program. So let's go ahead and print this out. And this is such a nice report. I love this report. It's on 1 page. It's easy for our funders and our corporations to look at it. And you don't have to know too much crazy math about this. It just tells you straight off the bat where you're at. And I love this. So I just printed my growth report from last year to give to my funders. And I'm looking at our snapshot report for our first checkpoint this fall. Okay, I'm looking at Objective 20, which uses number concepts and operations, right? Under the dimension of A, which is counts. And I'm noticing right now that there are several students who are performing at a level 2. When I meet with Janice today, I think it would be good for us to talk about this area. Another way that we use data is to inform instruction at the classroom level. And one of the reports that I pulled is the snapshot report for our fall students, and it's for all students.
Oh, great.
So this is all 5 classrooms, and just looking at that, I wanted to share with you and make sure that you're on the same page with me, that we have all of the domains in all the classrooms, so you'll see that all of our students are in the right area. All our teachers did their checkpoints. And I wanted just to kind of bring this to your attention, and I know that this has been an area where you've been looking at too, is the mathematics. It says that 50% are not on the meeting level yet. So I just kind of wanted to make sure that you're on the same page with me on that. And then as you report out to the teachers, just to kind of highlight that area a little bit.
This is great information because it gives us that baseline. So the teachers were able to identify these areas.
Absolutely.
And now it just puts it into form so that we see where we want to be at the end of the year. With the teachers looking at this, knowing what areas are going to be really focusing on, and being able to identify which children may need a little bit more support.
That now leads us to a little bit deeper of a report, which I know you've already looked at as well, is the class profile report. I wanted to print off just the classroom. It's a long report, but this is good. It gives us lots of good information. And I'm going to just fast forward to the mathematics area. That just kind of highlights even more depth of what we saw from the snapshot report to how we're moving and drilling down to now the classroom. And as you can see, there are several students on this list, or in this report, that are at level 2. So, and I'm glad it's early in the year. We can, look at this and really figure out what we need to do to help move them forward.
That information is so valuable to share with the parents as well, so that we're all on the same page.
Absolutely, and that's the key factor. So I'm going to close down the class profile report and then move into this. This is the last report I want to share with you today.
Okay.
From the class profile report, we're moving into the individual child report for how Natalie is doing. It's her composite for the checkpoint for the whole fall. A lot of good information in here. But what I wanted to focus in on is the mathematics right here. And just bringing out to your attention that, we're at level 2 right now, but we want to see, some movement.
I'm excited that we're able to provide this information rather than waiting.
Yes,
and
not knowing.
This is wonderful.
What do you feel our next step should be for our teachers and our students?
Well, I think the next step would be to meet with the teachers, go over the reports with them, and then ask for their input.
Okay.
And us do some brainstorming together, see what kind of support I can help them with. And each teacher has some ideas, and so what I'd like to do is write them down and share them.
We definitely need to make sure that all the teachers have those class profile reports of their individual classroom, and then make sure that they have had a chance to look at those individual child reports so that they know where every kiddo is in their classroom. And we can get those.
They do have these reports.
Okay.
So now they're able to plan their lesson plans and the goals in the learning standards.
Sounds great. All right. So what do you think our next steps are for engaging our families and making sure they have this valuable information in hand as well?
Well, we have set aside days for conferences with parents, and the teachers will go over the development and learning reports. On that report, it has some recommended activities for the teachers.
Oh, I love that report.
To do.
That's a good report.
And I've asked them to run off some of those ideas that they can give to the parents as well.
Okay.
So it's the collaboration between the school and the home.
Absolutely.
So the activities that we're doing at school, the parents can reinforce those skills at home.
Okay.
So we're going to tie it in very, very well.
For the families that need the Spanish versions, please make sure that we're printing out the Spanish version as well for them.
And with our parent conferences, the great part about it is we have a bilingual teacher in each classroom.
Absolutely.
So we are going to meet the needs of all parents. The parent will be able to share information that is valuable for the teacher as well.
Okay.
And
So we know what's happening from the home experience as well.
Of course, we want to see what activities they have been doing and what are some of the things that they do with counting at home, so that we can embrace that and we can share that and bring that into the school as well.
Good.
So that we are collaborative, working together side by side.
Sounds great. Keep me in the loop of where I can help support. And next week, on our weekly meetings, if you can just keep me updated.
That's great.
We also use data to identify ways we can support teachers in the classroom.
Yesterday I had a meeting with Jen, and we were looking at the snapshots of all classrooms. And in the snapshots, in the objective of mathematics, in the dimension of counting, we noticed that many of our students are needing some additional support in that area of counting. So I would like to discuss that with you and see what are some of the things that you may be doing in your classroom.
I've noticed the trend too during my assessments, and I started to embed counting in all of my activities.
1, 2, 3.
For example, we're counting how long it takes us to wash our hands, setting up for lunch, and counting blocks when we're playing in blocks.
Those ideas that you're doing are where the learning is going to occur, because you're embedding them in meaningful experiences for the children. And with those experiences, that's how they're going to learn to count, Rosa. So continue to do those great strategies that you're using. I also have looked at some of the recommended activities that Gold provides.
Actually, I've already printed them out for parents to use at home.
Great.
So I've printed the reports to share with the parents and also the activities.
And I did notice with some of the activities, you might just clarify to the parents that they don't have to go buy the basket. They can use whatever they have at home. And so if you need any help or support, please, you and I could get together and brainstorm.
Okay.
And there's so much information on counting. We will come up with other ideas as well.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
And finally, we use data to meet the needs of individual students and their families.
One of the areas that we will be focusing on is counting. We realized that most of our students are ready to move up.
So how is Natalie doing?
She is doing great. She has a little bit trouble counting in order from 0 to 10.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
And yourself?
9.
Let's count again. We've been working on that with her a little bit more. We're counting our steps, we're counting the seconds it takes us to wash our hands, and counting the students in our classroom every day so she can get the repetition of the numbers each day.
Great. We've been trying to work on some of those things at home too. We play some games that just try to work on our counting. When we go to the store, we try to count some of the items in the store or restaurant, wherever we're at. But what are some other things that we can do to kind of help her skills advance?
Those are all great ideas, and let me show you. In our assessment, they have ideas of activities that you can do at home. We will be doing these activities at school as well. Some games that you can play with her to work more on her counting.
Oh, great. This will help a lot. Thank you.
It takes all of us to support our children. It takes parents, teachers, coaches, administrators, and funders. And data helps keep us all focused on achieving positive outcomes for our children.